All right, y'all. What is going on? Happy Monday to you guys. May 4th, 2020. The dawn of a new day, the dawn of a new week. And exciting things are on the horizon in the coming days if we choose to see it in that light and fight for that perspective. And today, with the quote and the idea that I'm going to bring to the table, it is very much my hope that it helps you in that pursuit of that perspective so we can accomplish some pretty cool stuff over the next 7 days. And where that quote is going to be coming from today is a book called Ego is the Enemy, written by Ryan Holiday. Fantastic read. I'm about halfway through it right now. Very thought-provoking, very perspective-provoking, which is exactly the types of things that I like to read more times than not. And it is certainly fulfilling that for me. So go check that one out. If you guys have not heard or read about that one before, I would highly suggest it. But that quote that I'm going to present today is very simple, very straightforward, and I'm going to set it off with that and then build from there after I present this thing. So the quote is this, and I quote, that man is pushed by the drives in his life and also is pulled by his values. One more time, man is pushed in his life by the drive or drivers, but he is pulled by his values. So let's think about this one for a second. And I think in the context of the chapter and the way he kind of put it into the text of this book, he kind of leaves it open for interpretation in terms of how you want to take this quote, which I like stuff like that because you can kind of fit it into your own life or situations as you see fit. But generally speaking, what I got out of this quote is this. When I think of being pushed, and I also think of being pulled, those are two very powerful situations, right? Both things, being pushed or being pulled, pretty significant feats, right? So the first part of this thing, if I'm being pushed in a certain direction, maybe it's by someone, maybe it's by something, some object, whatever, it's kind of tough to push back against that, right? But I can do it. I can throw on the brakes. If somebody's pushing me, I can turn around and fight them. Or if something's pushing me, I can turn around and try to fight against it, or dig my feet into the ground and kind of push back against those things. It's tough. It's hard, but it's doable. And when I think of drivers in our life, I'm not saying this is always a bad thing, right? You can be pushed in the right direction by these drivers that are good and or bad. Maybe it's money, right? Maybe it's seeking a spouse or a mate, or maybe it's status at work or status in society, a rank at work, a certain job. The list goes on forever in terms of these things that drive us. But I've seen, I kind of identify drivers as external things more times than not. But again, it can be good, bad. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever, it's up to you. But these are things that push us that are pretty powerful, right? But the second part of this quote is talking about being pulled by our values. And to me, values are more intrinsic. What do I kind of base my life on, right? So again, being pulled in a certain direction is very powerful as well. But more times than not, if I'm being pulled by somebody or pulled by something, there's not much I can do in that situation, especially if that something is stronger than I am or more determined than I am or whatnot. So being pulled, right, I can't throw on the brakes. I can't really turn. I'm being dragged in that direction. So when it comes to being pulled by our values, if that is the case, so powerful of a thing, if I am being pulled, then the values in my life better be cemented on some pretty damn powerful stuff for the better, right? Because it can be a good or bad situation when it comes to my values. What do I stand on? And if I'm going to be being pulled by this stuff, damn, man, I better make sure that's the good stuff. And are we all perfect in that pursuit? Do we have all of our ducks in order or in line when it comes? Of course not. Of course not. But the thing I love about this quote is that it brings to light the reality that, yes, we can be driven by a bunch of different things. Again, good, bad, happy, sad, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to our values, that's the most important thing in life, because we're going to be pulled regardless in that direction of what those things look like. So if I want to find positivity in my life, I better be a positive person when it comes to my values. If I want to be a strong person mentally, emotionally, physically, that value has to be there. I don't know anybody that kind of seeks out to be soft or seeks out to be an asshole or seeks out to be a bad person. But if we don't put the time and effort in establishing these values for ourselves consciously and purposefully, we're going to be pulled by them in a very wrong direction. And before we know it, we're going to be sinking. And it's going to be really hard to come back to the surface if we don't take the time right now to establish that stuff. Okay, so one more time, man is pushed by drives or drivers, external things, but pulled by values. So my question that I'm going to ask us this week, to start off this week, is where do I stand in regards to my values? What does that look like in my life? That needs to be of the utmost importance when it looks, or we are looking at our entire life in a macro picture. We have to establish that stuff, work on that stuff, so we can find ourselves in a good spot by being purposeful in that pursuit. Okay, so happy Monday to everybody. I hope that gives us a little kick in the butt as we go to attack this week. Read a book, seek something out that might, present a quote like so that speaks to you in your own life. That's what I try to do with this stuff, and I'm sharing it with you guys because it helps me kind of reintegrate that stuff into my mindset, into my subconscious mind as I attack my weeks as well. Maybe it's an experience, maybe it's more effort, whatever. But let's kick ourselves in the right direction, kick ourselves in our own butts in the right direction by working on our values this week. Because for better or for worse, they're going to pull us where they want to pull us. Okay, y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great week. God bless you guys. Coach Koo.